my friends. Welcome, and happy to be here with you and to greet you. It's my delight that we have this time together. And so there's a saying about mindfulness. That is, mindfulness is easy. Remembering to do it is difficult. So the act of mindfulness in and of itself is meant to be phenomenally simple. So simple it's sometimes hard to trust it. So simple that it's maybe hard to remember to do it. And a lot of the practice is remembering and coming back and coming back. And at some point in the history of Buddhism, the word sati, translated as mindfulness, was understood to be remembering. It's related to the word memory or remembering. So part of it is to remember to do it. And because it's so difficult to remember, the mind wanders off, it gets caught up in thinking a lot, then there's a second practice that we can do that helps us to keep us in the flow of mindfulness. It's also a way of protecting ourselves. Mindfulness is meant to be protective so that we're protected from picking up thoughts and impulses and motivations, attitudes, which are harmful for ourselves or harmful for others. And it protects others, it protects ourselves. And so this not picking up, sometimes, so just whatever happens, when you notice you're not being clearly mindful in the present moment, but you're kind of leaning into or getting involved in or picked up in anything else, let go of it. Or if you see it arising, don't pick it up, let it be. So for this meditation, certainly be mindful, but maybe the emphasis can be, don't pick it up. If you've picked it up, let it go. If you can't let it go, let it be. Let it be. So you stay in mindfulness. To do this, not picking up and letting go, requires some degree of mindfulness, of awareness of what's happening. Not picking up, letting go, lets you kind of settle back. Just be aware now of the breathing, of the body. Be aware of what's happening rather than leaning into it or caught in it or reacting to it. And this doesn't have to be how you live your life, but it can be very effective as a relaxed approach to meditation. So you stay a little bit alert, let go, don't pick up, let things be, and stay in the continuity, and let that help you remember to stay present. So, to assume a meditation posture, and a posture that, given the conditions of your body, mind, and life, allow you or support you in being aware in the present moment, here and now. That can be any one of the four great postures. The standing, so walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. And perhaps gently closing your eyes. And with some sense of dedication, devotion, spend a few moments arriving here and now. If you have some preoccupations or something that's strong happening to you, acknowledge it kindly. Acknowledge it, oh, this is what's happening. Name it. Recognize it. Maybe feel how it is to be this way now. And then take a few long, slow, deep breaths. For now, letting go of the thoughts and tensions and concerns that you have. Let go the best you can, at least the tensions in the body related to it. On the exhale, deep inhale and exhale, release. Relax. And then letting your breathing return to normal. And continue with a few rounds of breathing to relax in your body. Relax any tension in your body related to whatever you might be concerned with, whatever way you might be feeling. It's okay to be how you are, but let go, relax. And then relaxing the thinking mind, any tension and pressure that might be there. Softening in the forehead, in the skull. Any place you feel tension and pressure, activation around thinking. Relax the activation. And then settling down to be with your breathing, be in your body, to be the home base, the home for your mindfulness, present moment awareness. And if breathing is not the right place for you, go to your home base, your default way of staying in the present. And as you do so, be alert enough to not pick up whatever arises. You don't need to be aversive to anything. Just don't pick it up. Don't be involved. No need to react, judge. And if not picking it up is not enough, let go of it. Let go of your involvement with it. The tension connected to it. Or let it be, so it has no hold over you. You can stay in the flow of mindfulness. Protect your present moment awareness. And you'll be protected. To help you not pick up, to help you to let go. You might say gently, kindly, no thank you, or not now. A gentle no thank you. So you can not pick up, or you can let go and return to being aware. Awareness that's not compromised. Just aware. Breathing, body, feelings, thoughts. Resting in awareness. By not picking up, by letting go, something profound within is protected. If mindfulness, if awareness has us connected to a deep root of presence, of wisdom, of freedom, then not picking up and not picking up keeps us close to that treasure within. We do have something within to protect, valuable to protect, that we lose all too easily. There is a place within that's underneath the reactive mind, underneath the discursive mind, the story mind. Where wisdom and patience, kindness resides. When not picking up, when letting go and letting be can keep us close to this deep root inside. We're protecting something deep. And as we come to the end of the sitting, may our capacity to be aware support us to stay close to our deep inner capacity for wisdom, for kind attention, patience, for generosity and love. And from there, to gaze upon the world with goodwill. A goodwill that is a well-wishing, wishing everything in all directions well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. Thank you. So, welcome to this 9th talk on the 10 protectors. And this idea of there are practices we can do that protect us and protect others, implies that there's something valuable to protect. And one of the discoveries through things like meditation practice and spiritual practices of different kinds, and other ways of being in the world, we discover that there is a place within of well-being, a place of happiness or peace, a place of wisdom, a place that where there can be a phenomenally wonderful, easeful caring for the world, even in the midst of great tragedy, that we don't have to sacrifice this valuable place within. And so not sacrifice it by the strong human tendencies for anger, for hostility, for hatred, for greed, for jealousy and envy, for self-righteousness, for to be caught up in anxiety, to be caught up in fear, to be caught in ignorance. These are common human tendencies which tend to cover over, tend to restrict and are obstacles for this deep place where wisdom and compassion can operate in a nourishing way, in a healthy way. So there's a story that's told by the Buddha, kind of a fable, and he talks about that in the ancient world there are two acrobats, and the master acrobat and the apprentice. And it turns out the apprentice is the name, and the literal meaning of the name, at least the way it appears to us and who know a little bit of Pali, is frying pan. And so I don't know, jumping out of the frying pan or something, why the name that way, but maybe it's irrelevant to certainly irrelevant to the story, perhaps. But the two acrobats and the master acrobat, and so the apprentice is going to climb up and do acrobatic feats, balanced on the master acrobat. Maybe stand on one hand, or the strong master acrobat is going to hold up with one hand the apprentice, who will do various acrobatic feats on this one hand of the senior, acrobat. So the senior acrobat says, "Watch over me, and I will, and then we will both be safe. And I'll watch over you, and that way we'll both be safe." And the apprentice says, "No, that's not how it works. I'll watch over myself, and then we'll both be safe. And you watch over yourself, and then we'll both be safe." So in telling the story, the Buddha said, yes, that's the way it is. But he doesn't quite, then he goes on to do teaching, which kind of little bit changes it, even though he says he prefers the instructions from the apprentice. But he says, yes, and the way that we protect others, by first protecting ourselves, is by practicing cultivating the four foundations of mindfulness. To cultivate our capacity to be aware in an embodied way, aware of our body, to be aware of our feelings, the feeling tones that we have, to be aware of our mind states, to recognize them and know them well, and to be aware of the mental activity of the mind that either creates tension, the tension of attachment, or releases that tension, and reveals the beautiful qualities of the mind, the 7 factors of awakening, the deep insight that leads to liberation. And so the mindfulness cultivating those 4 foundations of mindfulness, that's the way we protect others. And I suppose the way we're protecting others, we're protecting them from ourselves. Remember, the analogy of the acrobat is there are 2 people who are doing these amazing kind of interrelated, interactive feats, exercises. And for the people who are in direct contact with, in the ancient world of the Buddha, that was primarily where the influence and the effect that people had on each other was directly with each other. There was no social media at the time of the Buddha. And the communication lines were all through people's oral contact with each other. So it was even, it gets more complicated in our modern world. But in the ancient world, the Buddha, the reference point was how we're relating to people directly when we have contact. And in that world, we protect others when we protect ourselves. And when we cultivate the 4 foundations of mindfulness, we're not going to give in to greed, hate, and delusion. We're not going to get into the kind of ways in which we get caught up and tense and reactive to what's going on. And then people are protected from our reactivity. And so the Buddha said, so then the Buddha continued, and this is where he makes, so first he agrees, and this is how it's true, and then he goes on to say something a little bit more inclusive. He says, we protect others by protecting ourselves, by cultivating these 4 foundations of mindfulness. We protect ourselves by protecting others when we practice patience, loving kindness, sympathy, and There's one more. I forget what it is. And this idea of kindness, the idea of patience with people, the idea of having sympathy for them. If we have those attitudes towards others, that's a way of protecting ourselves. So the protection goes, in both directions. That there are certain things we do for ourselves that protects us from the kind of unhealthy reactivity we might have, and thereby protecting others. And there's things we can do for others, which has to do with healthy, supportive attitudes of goodwill towards others. That in return protects ourselves. We don't protect ourselves when we meet people with hate. We don't protect others when we meet with people with kind of a coldness and indifference, not really understanding where they are. We don't understand others if we are impatient with them or intolerant. The word kanti, that's usually translated as patient, can also mean tolerant of others, or intolerance. Being intolerant in English usually is kind of not a very good thing to way of being. And so that's how we protect ourselves. And so now in this 9th protection of the 10 protectors, what it is mindfulness, sati, awareness. That and it's significant to me that it's the 9th of these 10 that practicing harmless. Oh, that's the other one for anyway. Protecting harmlessness, learning the Dharma well, being devoted to the Dharma, being loving it. There's all these things that we've been talking about that lead up to our support and protect one of the greatest protections we have, which is mindfulness. And so to practice mindfulness, not just for the sake of mindfulness, but because hopefully at some point as we practice, we know there's something valuable inside, within us. We have access to a source, to a profundity, to a place, a activity of wisdom, of compassion, of love, of kindness, of generosity, of non-harming, of insight, of being really grounded in a place of non-attachment. This is worth protecting. And we protect it by being mindful. Because if we're mindful, we'll see the greater the mindfulness, the more acutely we'll see the movements towards reactivity, the ways in which attachment operates, where we get involved, we lean into, we get caught up in, we just even justify reactivity, but to come back to that deeper place and to protect that. In doing that, we protect others and we protect ourselves. We do that, and then we have the opportunity to offer to others the goodwill, the kindness that is a kind of protects us externally from others. It tends to. The opposite of these things, intolerance, impatience, harming others, ill will, being unsympathetic to the situation of others, that doesn't contribute to others wanting to care for us. It contributes to the opposite. So mindfulness is a protector. And the more we're practicing mindfulness, the more we stay aware, the more we have the opportunity to protect something that's really precious within. And from that, we begin protecting others and have the possibility of living a life where hopefully we're all protecting each other. We all have a capacity deep inside for beautiful qualities of being. And if we want to find that in the world and spread that in the world, let us become transmitters of it. Let us be people who demonstrate that this is possible. And if no one demonstrates this is possible, then how are people going to learn it? So thank you. So we have one more protector for tomorrow, and I very much appreciate this chance to talk about these things. And may you protect yourself. And today, if you can maybe practice mindfulness through the day, perhaps you'll, whatever you remember to be mindful, check in and reflect on how you are and what just happened for you, what's been going on in the last minutes for you. And see, did you lose your mindfulness? And in losing the mindfulness, did you get involved in a reactive way? Did you get involved in something that ideally you would have been protected from? Some way of being caught in a tense way. And maybe in seeing that, maybe you'll say, oh yes, mindfulness is a protector. And it would have been worth it being mindful, and been mindful so I didn't get so caught up. And if you didn't have any caught upness during the day, then at the end of the day you can celebrate. Thank you.